Here we are at the onion stack, or the onion rack actually, really, guess. But you can see here, these are the ones that we picked before. These are the bigger ones that were down at the front of the garden. They've been in here, I guess, for 2.5, maybe 3 weeks. So they're getting pretty close to being just ready, nice and dry, where they have that nice brown outer shell. And we can just sort of put them where we need to store them after that. And then you can sort of see from this side of the ones that were all bunched together, so they're not as big. So it's not like we got like hardly any onions. It's just that the size of them wasn't that great from the sets of onions that were bunched together. So like I said multiple times, we're not going to do that next year. Next year we're just going to do a bunch of raised beds full of the ones we had like this, and we can pack more in than what we did this time as well. So it's just a learning curve for next year, but it's still a decent amount, but it's not going to last a crazy amount of time in this lot. And here's the difference of the carrot and the raised bed. Look at that uniformity. Look at the size of it.
A raised bed?
See where the fireplace is.
Another beast right there. Jeez. Here we have a load of runner beans. Honestly, we forget to record half the time when we harvest, so we've probably gone through like 4 loads of this already. Here's a bunch of plums from the trees that are around the garden. I think we have three of them in the garden. Here's one of them right outside the kitchen. And there's one in the orchard area and somewhere else. But yeah, it's going to be deceiving because we're not going to be showing every time we go out to the garden and pick something. And a lot of the time we're not picking things in bulk, we're just picking it for the dinner. So, but just know, there's been tons of food. We haven't really had bad luck with anything, so everything's produced pretty well. Here is a nice box set up for our neighbour with the eggs, which we give him normally anyway, so that's why my mum was tight and only gave him 4 this time. Some carrots, some plum jam that my mum made out of the insane amount of plums that we've been getting. Just every day you're pretty much getting like that much. So we've given the decking a clean, just drying out now, but it's about time. And I think there's some protective layer as well that was within the mix, so looking good. The last of the carrots from the cabin patch have been picked. These are the ones that are just gone a bit rank or had fat bits eaten out of them, but yeah, some decent ones to end up with.
Because it
The
doesn't.
last one was literally nothing, and then this one,
It doesn't look that big.
well, it feels pretty long.
But I mean, it must go quite.
Wait, what?
What is that?
That's fucking...
It's a pencil parsnip.
I'd say that. I mean, it's pretty big at the top. It just goes
It's-
on forever and ever.
Length rather than width. Wow.
When you think about that, it's quite thick at the top anyway.
Oh, yeah,
so
but-
I wouldn't say it's... But
What
where
a
would you...
strange looking
I
parsnip.
mean, it's longer than the raised bed, so this is obviously going below into the
Yeah.
ground below it.
Wow.
I mean, the last one we took out was like this size, and it looked like stumpy little thing. I'll probably leave them in there for a little bit longer, and then
wow.
we just pulled out a fucking wand.
It's like Potter.
Okay, it's time to dig up the rest of this potato patch. The plants died off at least 2 weeks ago, maybe even longer, so we could leave them in the ground, but I just don't want them to get eaten over time by things, because even when I'm picking up these ones, there's little holes in them and little bits chunked off, so the longer I leave them in there, it's just like, I don't want them to all get like that, otherwise I can't store them. So all the ones that are damaged, we have to eat. I mean, you don't have to eat them quickly, they still last pretty long, but you don't want to be putting them in a bag full of potatoes that it could, if it does get something wrong with it, it then just passes it on to everything else. So, and especially since we're using Hessian sacks, we're not like using boxes with straw and then dividing them so they're not even touching each other, which is a good way. We might try that next year, but yeah, for now I'm just going to finish up this middle one, which is the King Edwards. And then the one in the raised beds I won't worry about as much, since even though they are dead, the plants, I don't think there's going to be much chance of other stuff getting in there, so we'll see. Maybe I will dig up. We are now finished with the King Edwards. Got a pretty decent pile with different sizes. Quite a few like really tiny ones, a few big ones, most of them are just medium. But that is this whole area dug. I assume there will be a few rogue ones in there that I just missed along the way. But yeah, I'm thinking whilst I'm doing this, I might as well just finish off these Maris Pipers, so yeah. I was just looking through my videos, and I'd done a video the first time I harvested some of the new potatoes. They were the first potatoes that we harvested this year, but I didn't get the full batch, so I was just going to record where we are now. I mean, it's been about 7 weeks since I first harvested the first lot, so I mean, you have diminished. This whole basket here was full, and now we're down to sort of, I mean, there's still quite a lot in there, but, and then this one up here is pretty much full up, as you can see underneath here. I just want to just move this bag of carrots on the top. But yeah, so this one's got loads left, that one's got a decent amount left, and then we've got like 2 pretty big bags full of them up in the cabin. Here we are with the potatoes. We finished harvesting them all now, so we've probably got about 50 down at the house that are got like little divots taken out of them and little holes that we don't want to put in for long-term storage, but these guys are all good. So I mean, we'll start eating. It's not like we're going to store them the whole way. Obviously, as soon as we finish the ones downstairs, we'll just start picking out the ones we need from here. But as in, yeah, we don't want to be putting the ones with holes into these sacks basically, because these will last longer. And we still actually got a bunch of new potatoes as well, thinking about that. So we've probably got a month and a half of potatoes still before we even have to get to these ones. So you can see the bag's sort of up to that point, maybe like a halfway, just over halfway. And then again, you can't really see much because such an awkward bag to get hold of. I can't really show it, but there's the top layer of them. So I guess that's not very interesting. But yeah, there's the few on top that you can see. But let me just cover that back. But yeah, there's kind of a hefty sack right there, and then another one pretty much the same size as the King Edwards right here. Again, I could try and open it, but we're not going to see much. There we go. And then the rest of the onions that are still drying off. But again, we've got a bunch downstairs that we can go through first. So these aren't even ready yet. You can see this one hasn't even formed the outer shell. They get more towards this point, obviously here. But this one's pretty much done. If I wanted to, I could just take that down now. Here we are by the strawberries that are surprisingly still producing. It's probably been close to 2 months since they started, and they're still going. The new one is starting to give some bigger ones as well. Just coming around the sides, but they're kind of hidden everywhere. But yeah, this one was only started to grow this year, and it has got pretty big, to be fair. And even on here, again, you can't really see them because they're all hidden in between everything. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised that these guys are still going. Right, it's time to pick some more carrots. Just about to finish the last 3 of them, so we can actually start getting a load of them out of the raised beds, which only here and now I've just taken 1 or 2 just to see what they're like. But let's yank a bunch out and see how they are. Like this guy. Oh, that's a pretty good one right there. I'll take it. All of the ones I pulled out turned out to be nice and big, so yeah, I don't need to pick that many, so I'll just do these for now. But yeah, the raised beds just produce the chickens. Shut up. Yeah, the ones in a raised bed are just way better. Right, we're about to have a roast dinner, so it's time to pick a couple parsnips. I mean, depending on how big they are. Since last time we got a massive one, we only had to pick another one out, and we just chopped up into pieces, and it was huge. So I don't know if we're going to get another one that big, because that one just seems to be a freak big ass parsnip. But this one looks like it could be kind of promising right here, so let's give this one a go, see what happens. Yep. you get a really good on the last one, and this one, shite. Up by the spring onions, just picking them as we go along. These ones have been here for pretty long now, since we've been using the bottom of the garden first, where we had them planted elsewhere. We still have all these guys going. We actually have another second lot that we planted a while back, so they'll be coming later on. But yeah, let's just pick a few of these out. Here are the first 2 sweet corn. We just harvested these today, since we opened them up, and then they looked pretty good on the outside, and then when we popped one of the kernels, it came out that milky colour, so we knew these ones were ready. So we will have these real soon. Okay, my mum's just gone out in the garden and got various beans here that have just got kind of too long, but they look pretty cool. And a bunch here as well, so we've got loads. And we've gone through quite a lot of these baskets of them already. More onions that are finished drying, but there's still way over half of them drying in the cabin right now, so they should last pretty long. Look how small these ones are. Yeah. Obviously that's why they're down here, because they dried out the quickest. But just went out and picked some more tomatoes. I don't think we recorded the past couple times we picked a bunch of them, but we made some nice tomato pasta sauce with it, and with other things, and just by themselves. The strawberries are still actually producing, which is surprising to me, but they keep coming, not many at a time, but it's quite consistent. They did go through the phase of doing quite a lot in one go, but now it's just sort of every few days there'll be, or like every week or so there'll be about five to 10 new ones, which is just fine by me. But yeah, the tomatoes are going quite well. There's still loads of them out there, and a few of them that have just fallen off. Obviously, they're just not quite ready, but hopefully they'll just ripen up by sitting around. But yeah, they're doing well. Brung more onions in as well that have dried out. You can see they're in a nice final form, and then the 2 tiny red onions here that obviously dried out because they were tiny. But there's a bunch, like basically all that's left in the cabin right now is just mainly maybe about 30 red onions, and then maybe like 5 more of the normal onions left over. But yeah, there's quite a lot there. That'll take us a good while to go through. Obviously eggs always stacked up. Always got too many eggs, but that's good because we can just give them away to people. And the garlic is still got pretty much most of it as well. We don't go through garlic as much as we used to, so I think ever since we've just platted them up, we've only gone through maybe 3, and these are the first thing I think we harvested, so that would have been 2.5 months ago, maybe a bit less, I'd say about 2.5 months ago. So yeah, that's going well, and there's probably one still in here right now. Yeah, there's not much left, but there's still some in there. Right, and then obviously what we do is just every few days or like once a week we go and pick some more carrots and then just put them in here and then just use them as and when we need. So it's just a bunch chilling in there, a bunch chilling in here, and then all the new potatoes. We still got so many new potatoes, and we harvested. These were the second thing we harvested after the garlic. So these have been in here for say about 2 months now, but I've gone through them all and they all look fine. None of them look like they're decomposing or like have any dodgy bacteria on them. And then I think these are the ones that when I went through the Hessian bags the other day, some of them there were holes in them, and I was like, I don't want to really leave them in there just in case, even though they were tiny holes. It's like I don't want them to get sort of infected and pass it on, kind of like this. Like they would just have like one of these on there, and I was like, yeah, I can't really leave that in the Hessian bag. And then I bought a bunch down anyway, just so we can go through these first before we touch the sack. So there's loads in here. There's loads of potatoes in there. I mean, we're gonna have potatoes for a long time, which is good because obviously we use them most days. Carrots we use most days.